Hi guys, it's Jill with Parson Parcel. I'm here today because we're going to pick up where we left off last week. I'm going over Neenah's brand new relaunch of the design collection. They just launched last week the entire collection and it's completely revamped, looks totally different. This was the previous swatch book for it, and I would tell you if you have this, you want to get rid of it, because Neenah has now broken out the collection into 3 categories, and the swatch books. Last week we went over the tactile swatch book. This week, today, we're going to go over the soft touch swatch book in the design collection. And next week we will be reviewing the 3rd one, Pearlized. But let's take a look at the soft touch swatch book. What I think is so awesome about what Neenah has done is they've made the swatch books reflect the way we as creatives think about paper and how we want to use it. So when we're thinking in terms of color and texture, which is largely text and cover papers, which is the type of paper company Neenah is, text and cover for you traditionalists, we're thinking about a lot of color and a lot of texture, real tactile feeling papers. So this swatch book, called Soft Touch, encompasses 4 grades which are highly tactile. This is a great book for packaging designers, for graphic designers that are working on brand identity, that they really want to have certain elements stand out. Tactility is going to grab people's attention more so than design and ink, or in conjunction with. But the minute you pick up something that's tactile, it could be a blank sheet of paper, but due to the nature of it, like, you hold that in your hand and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? It's one of the reasons that the soft touch finishing is doing so well on the printer side of things. Now this book, Soft Touch, very much has that feel to it. There's a big difference between utilizing papers whose inherent characteristics are that petal soft, very lush, supple feeling of soft touch. And the biggest reason you would want to do it, one of the biggest ones, is that feel is inherent to the paper. So whether you emboss on it, foil stamp on it, you are still going to retain the qualities of the paper where the paper shows. But really important for packaging designers, rather than just coating the sheet with a soft touch aqueous or laminate, you get a solid sheet, especially when we're talking about color. So you're not going to see that white edge to it. The other thing is the papers that are made with the inherent soft touch finish to them retain a depth of texture, that soft touch texture, that is unparalleled when we're talking about applying aftermarket coatings like a laminate or an aqueous. Those are all going to vary in different degrees of tactility in terms of that real suede-like soft touch finish. I would tell you, if you want the real deal, I'm a purist though. I'm going for the paper first, applying the techniques that I want to work with it. If I need to do something to protect the sheet, that's a different story. But in terms of, if I'm looking for a soft touch finish, something that I really want to feel, you know, like that petal soft feel to it, I'm turning to the paper. And for us, that's the soft touch swatch book. All right, so let's break it down here. We've got 4 finishes and grades within the swatch book. Brand new to the collection is Leather-like Papers. You guys, this is so incredible. It feels like leather. I'm not kidding. Like, it reminds me, okay, I'm going old school here, but do you guys remember, oh god, this is a couple decades ago, the old school Coach bags? They had this pebble-like, or Dooney and Bourke, they had that pebble-like finish to it. So we've got the traditional finish, which is going to be more of a pronounced, embossed leather pattern to it. And you can see it in the brown and in the black, but also the minimal finish in the leather. Like, this feels more to me like almost like a snakeskin pattern or a lizard. It's a little more refined, again, minimal. So I think either one of these patterns is going to work well with a number of applications. But to me, I totally see this working if you are in the fashion sector, retail sector, jewelry, and you really have a high touch product. Please do not skimp out on the identity elements, you know, like hang tags or belly bands and God forbid the boxes, because really and truly, chances are we're talking luxury, which means high end, which means, I don't know, hundreds to thousands of dollars for the goods. Your packaging needs to reflect that. It is all part of the brand. And honestly, paper can extend brand messaging like nothing else. So I do have a couple samples here. I kind of dismantled previous swatch books and I got a sneak peek of a new one. This is the sample, and I'm hoping you guys can see that up close. So this is the minimal finish in the Leatherlike collection with a simple foil stamp. Look at that. You guys, this is so luxe. Oh my God. I totally want to use this for a packaging project. Really, really nice. And the thing that's really cool about these sheets is because they are so tactile in nature, they really don't require you to do a whole lot in terms of bells and whistles. Like, you don't need to use every production technique, every type of, you know, just over the top sort of design element. You don't need it. The paper is part of the design. So when you're designing, using some of these substrates, you got to back it up and start thinking, how do I use the inherent qualities of these soft touch papers and incorporate them into the design so that it feels authentic and a natural extension of the brand. So I would tell you, less is probably more when we're talking about using these papers. The next grade in the book is PLIKE. PLIKE is, this always helped me remember how they got the name, plastic-like, hence PLIKE. And it's really what it says. It's a plastic-like finish to the paper. It feels very tactile and soft touch in quality, but it does have a plastic sort of feel to it as well, which could be very cool on the right application. Again, I feel like these lend themselves well to packaging applications. Look at that color palette though, super vibrant, really bold. On the left side of the swatch book, Neenah is always doing a really thoughtful job for us in including print samples of the substrates and some of the finishes. So over here you can see this is PLIKE in the Bordeaux, and I'm hoping you can kind of see that. It's got an emboss finish going on with a red and a gold foil, and it just, I think you can kind of see it there. It's gorgeous. I did dismantle a few other, sorry Neenah, a few other previous swatch books where I had some print samples and promotions, just so you guys could kind of see. So this is on the royal blue, and it's, look at that, it's just a blind emboss with very minimal silver metallic ink, but I just love the way, again, the paper holds that pressure-based print technique. In this case, it's the emboss. Honestly, again, less is more using these papers. This was the first iteration. I thought this was so fun. In the orange with a scale-like and blind emboss pattern to it. And the gold. That looks so good. Oh my God, I love this. And then some of you may remember the print promotion character. This was one of the elements in it. Look how beautiful that is. So this is the PLIKE with a emboss black foil. Just gorgeous. Really, I think we're talking tone on tone, minimal print techniques, maximizing your production value and the impact of the design. The other grades, Slide, and Slide is also a plastic-like finish. It is formulated specifically for box wraps. So when we're doing things like a setup box or a rigid box, for those of you that are parcel subscribers, that's what that is. It is a setup box or a rigid box. So think cardboard box, basically, to break it down in easy terms, or a chipboard box that is wrapped in, for me, it's paper. And in this case, Neenah's formulated this plastic-like soft touch feel of Slide to be perfect to use in box wrap applications. And the thing that gets tricky with box wraps with traditional substrates, you're folding with and against the grain, so you really want to make sure you have a sheet that can handle it. I know when we just reprinted, in fact I just got them today, we just reprinted the third iteration of the parcel. I had to send in sheets ahead of time for testing. I didn't know if they were going to work or not, and actually one did not, so I'm glad we tested. But this is the slide. And if we flip up the swatch books, for those of you that don't know, here's your little how do I rate a swatch book. It will tell you the colors it's available in, the basis weights, and the sheet size, as well as the quantities per package. Okay, so in the slide, we're talking 81 text, hence a box wrap. It's perfect for it. And then the final grade within the Soft Touch palette, or the Soft Touch swatch book of the design collection, is TOUCHÉ. You guys may remember last fall I did a video on the new TOUCHÉ launch. Neenah recently revamped the grade with a stunning color palette. Look at that. It is just beautiful. And to me, this is the original. When we're talking Soft Touch Papers, it's TOUCHÉ. It feels like no other soft touch out there. It is more luxe than, you know, in terms of coatings, people try to achieve that with a soft touch laminate. This puts that to shame. It is just beautiful. I loved it so much that you guys may remember this little promotion that I did. These are all on, we did some journals. These are all on TOUCHÉ. So I did the sterling, the black, and then the slate blue. I love this slate blue. Gorgeous. Simple foil stamp on each of those. And you can see the blind emboss. It worked really well too for what it was meant for the packaging application. So we did matching pencil boxes. Just gorgeous. And again, I had a budget. It's not like I have an unlimited budget. Let me just break the bank and go for broke. No, I had a budget. I let the paper be a huge part of the design and said, we're just going to keep this pretty simple. So we did a blind emboss and a foil to mimic the trend of topographic design. Really like the way they turned out. I'm very happy with it. And I got to tell you, if you guys are trying to figure out how to use soft touch papers, you definitely want to pick up the Swatchbook. Again, this was the example of the PLIKE. Here's a sample of the slide. So this is the box wrap. Look at that. You've got a slate. You've got the embossing going on, the registered foil, and you have a PMS metallic ink, and then the black foil. Can you see that? Just looks so good. And then here we've got a print sample of the brand new leather-like paper, and this is in the traditional finish. So good, right? You can see the die cut, how well it takes that. Honestly, I tell you, if you haven't used a soft touch paper, I would encourage you not to be afraid of it, to try it. Maybe tail in some sheets if you're doing, definitely if you're doing a packaging project, or even if you have a great relationship with your print reps, offer to tail in some sheets. Printers usually will not shy away from doing that for you. That's what we did on the pencil boxes, just to make sure things were going to work at first. I sent over plain sheets for them to tail into an existing run. I wanted to make sure that the embossing and the foil stamp were going to work on the paper, and we had to change some things up. But I'm so glad that we tested first, and I got exactly what I wanted. You guys, I just think Neenah's done an amazing job with the collection. I will tell you, do not wait. These are going so fast. Merchants cannot keep them in stock, but that just means you guys are using them. So again, the second installment in Neenah's recently revamped design collection is Soft Touch. Don't wait. Pick the book up today. Next week, I'm going to be sharing with you the third swatch book. Thought I had it here. Pearlized. I'll let you know when we're going live with that. Until then, if you have any questions, you can drop me a comment. I promise I will reply. Let me know what you think. And if you've used any of the soft touch papers on a project, definitely share pictures. I will I will share them on my Instagram feed because people want to see how these papers are used in real world applications. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week.